the net present value, one of the methods of investment appraisal. Investment appraisal is just basically talking about if a company wants to invest in new equipment, right? New capital, new machines, right? So now with the net present value, what we're just doing is that we're going to forecast future cash flows, okay? Expected cash flows that we expect to receive whenever we invest, but then we're going to discount those cash flows, right? So that we can get our present value. So the cash flows which we're going to forecast are like future values. Then we're going to discount them, okay, with a certain rate. Usually the rate is talking about the interest rate, okay? And whenever you're doing the net present value, the interest rate is referred to as the cost of capital, okay? Cost of capital. So that's the rate we'll be discounting our net present value, okay? So whenever we think of the cost of capital, you can think of it like this. To buy this certain equipment or to invest into this certain project, you are going to need to borrow some money, okay? So whenever you borrow the money, you're going to have to be paying interest, okay? So that's what we're calling the cost of capital, all right? The money which we can borrow and then we'll be paying interest in order to get this new equipment, all right? Okay, so here's a simple example. Let's say, for example, you want to invest in a popcorn machine, okay? You want to invest in a popcorn machine. Maybe a popcorn machine costs 600 kwacha, okay? Popcorn machine costs 600 kwacha. So now you are going to forecast cash flows for the future. Maybe let's say in year one, maybe you will get 50 kwacha. At the end of year one, you get 50 kwacha. At the end of year two, you get 150 kwacha. At the end of year three, you're going to get 300 kwacha, okay? At the end of year four, you're going to get, let's say, 350 kwacha. So let's say you forecast in 4 years' times. In 4 years' time, this is the money you're going to be receiving, okay? At the end of year one, okay, you will receive 50 kwacha. At the end of year two, you receive 150 kwacha. At the end of year three, you receive 300 kwacha. At the end of year four, 350 kwacha. So, okay, let's say the cost of capital is 10%. Okay, cost of capital is 10%. So meaning this is like if we borrow this 600, okay? If we borrow this 600 here, right? We'll be paying 10% each year, okay? We'll be paying an interest rate of 10% each year, okay, for borrowing this 600 kwacha to get our popcorn machine, all right? Okay, you borrow obviously from a bank or somebody, you borrow from them 600 kwacha, and then they give you an interest rate which you'll be paying every year, and this is what this 10% is about. So basically, you want to find out if you're going to have a surplus or a deficit with you want to find out if what you'll be receiving is going to surpass what you initially invested. So you can simply just first check. You can say, okay, you say that in year zero, which is the first year of year one, you paid a 600, right? So this is an outflow of cash, all right? So let's just find if we're going to get a surplus or a deficit. So I'm going to say negative 600, negative 600 plus 50 plus 150 plus 300 plus 350, okay? Get 250, right? This is our surplus, okay? This is the surplus you expect to get. But now there's a problem here because we have ignored the interest rate of 10%, all right? This surplus here, we have ignored the interest of this 10% from the money that we borrow to get this machine. So this 10%, okay, we're going to use it as a discount factor so that we can get the present values of these cash flows we are getting, okay? These cash flows, as I said again, these refer to future cash flows, okay? So now we're going to discount our future cash flows, right, with our interest rate of 10% so as to get our present values, all right? We want to find the value of this 50 kwacha at the end of 1 year. We want to find its value now, all right? This 150, we want to find its value now, okay? Even this 300, which we get at the end of year 3, we want to find its value now. So as the same 350 kwacha, we want to find its value now because remember, these are future cash flows, right? So we're going to say, we're going to discount, right? So we use this formula, we say 1 plus R. Okay, so whenever you hear discounting, just know discounting is converting future values to present values, okay? Discounting is converting future values to present values. So we have 1 plus R to the power negative T, okay? So if you've got your discount tables, all right, you can use it, right? But if you do not have, you just have to use this formula. So we say 1 plus 0.1 because 10% is like 0.1. Okay, so we're going to start the power negative 0. That will give us 1 here. Okay, so let me just tidy up this table a bit. Okay. So this column here is the cash flows. Just label it as CF. Okay, then here we're going to be discounting our cash flows, turning our future values into present values, right? So 1 plus 1.1 to the power negative 0 is 1, right? 1.1 to the power negative 1, okay? 1.1 to the power negative 1 is 0.909. Okay, then 1.1 to the power negative 2, okay, power negative 2 is 0.826. Okay, 1.1 to the power negative 3 is 0.751. Okay, and then 1.1 to the power negative 4 is 0.683. Okay, so now to get our present values, we're going to multiply our cash flows with our discount factors, okay? Because as I said, we want to find the present values of these future cash flows we're forecasting. We want to find the present values, all right, to see if our investment is worthwhile, okay? So we're going to say 600, negative 600 times 1, that's negative 600. 50 times 0.9909 is 45.45. 45.45. 150 times 0.826, That's 123.9. 123.9. 300 times 0.751 is 226.2. Okay, and 350 times 0.683 gives us 239. 239.05. Okay, so now we're going to check if we're going to get a surplus, all right? Meaning if we're going to receive more money than we invested, or if we're going to have a deficit where we're going to have less money than we invested, all right? So basically the rule for the net present value is that if it's greater than zero and it's a positive, which represents a surplus, you accept. But if it's less than zero, meaning it's negative, right? It's meaning that you're not going to get as much money than you invested, okay? When it's negative, you reject. So let's see if we're going to get more money than we invested or we'll get less. So we'll say negative 600 plus 45.45 plus 123.9. Wait, hold on. Negative 600 plus 45.45 plus 123.9 plus 226.2 plus 239.05. All right. So we're going to have a surplus of 34.6. So net present value is positive, right? We're going to get more money than we invested, right? The surplus will be 34.6. And since this is positive, okay, NPV is greater than zero. So we're going to accept this project, right? Because our NPV is positive. So you can buy this popcorn machine, all right? And then you expect to receive a surplus at the end of the day. So thank you. See you in the other video.